January 7th, 2014. This is the X-ray flux chart from Boulder, guys. We've had an M7. Now, it's a strong flare, but it's coming from 1944, the giant sunspot that is X-class capable. This is it on stereo ahead. It's grainy, but you can see the flare. It's actually two events, and I'll show you that. Also, I've got the last image from yesterday that on LASCO C2, guys, that has that big flare. Check that out. We were right in the middle of it when we did the video yesterday, and these are the last few images. And they haven't updated much on the 7th. But this is the big spot there in the center. Notice the magnetic lines are interacting with the small flare above it. Now that flare, the small one that I've been concerned about, has went dual configuration. Now there's that M7 this morning. See that? What's happening is there's an event just before it in that small flare. I'll point it out and I'll show you the sunspot numbers. There you have this event, and then the one below it. And they're, again, magnetically connected. Let's watch it. This one just, there's your first one. And again, they're feeding back and forth. If the one in the top goes triple configurated, we could have problems. That pause was the strong M7. And what we may be seeing is, as we look at this image, this is the magnetogram from SDO Earth facing. You can see that both sunspots are growing, but the one on the top seems to be trying to catch up somewhat. And we don't want to see this become classified as one sunspot group as it's Earth facing like this. Now, it doesn't look like it from these images, but I'm going to show again with the magnetic looping, they almost are one group. Check this out. Now, guys, we're going to get some relief to this cold weather. You see these dark blue squares? That's the coronal holes, and that's heat. Now, but we've been in a deep freeze for about 2 or 3 days. We got one more night here in the deep south in central Mississippi, guys. It's cold, and if you remember that when Mike called into the show yesterday, he was talking about extreme heat this summer with those, what was talking about 150-mile-an-hour straight winds. That's incredible. But notice these sunspots. In the large blue in 1944, that's actually part of one group, and that's what I'm saying. It's at 1,450 millionths as far as the surface, but see those two dots? That occurred during that strong flare. Watch that again. See that? That's your flaring. And they're, again, already magnetically connected. You can see right at the point there. It's arcing from that spot over to the other blue spot just to the bottom left of that. And you can see that arc point. But at 1450, that's your area of this group. These groups have actually been measured up to 6,000, from 1450 up to 6,000ths of a millionth of the surface. But that's what we're dealing with. They're both Earth facing. They're both connected. Guys, this is one that you want to hold your breath on as it comes around for the next few days. Again, it is beta gamma delta. Notice 46 is beta gamma already. Now remember, it was real small. 48's coming around. Has come all the way around the sun. Now you've got 30% chance of X flares, 75% chance of M flares. An M flare can do some damage. This one we're not sure yet. It was definitely a proton event. But see this group and this magnetic connection between the two? We do not want an arc like you see at the red arrow going between these two groups. We do not want that type of arc as it's Earth facing. But we've seen some strange things with the sun lately. So it's going through its polar magnetic reversal on poles because of changing halfway through the solar cycle. So it's no time to let your guard down. Again, this is the ACE proton chart. Check that out. It spiked that. Now, this one is Earth facing. It's not like that strong one that we saw yesterday that we're going to get a glancing blow. But it's not anything compared to that coronal mass ejection. But an X flare, and in the signature that you saw, that M flare, those can do damage to the grid. So again, for the next few days, as you see that these are Earth facing, guys, We do not want a major eruption. Heads up, be safe. Paul Begley will be our guest today on Blog Talk Radio, guys. It's going to be a great show. Be safe.